Major winter weather is developing across the United States. Multiple Arctic blasts, repeated rounds of snowfall, and cold air pushing deeper into the southern states than we've seen in quite some time. Right now, conditions across the country show a dramatic split. Eastern Colorado saw temperatures drop to 17 degrees this morning with wind chills down to 5 degrees. That's the Arctic air mass we're going to track all week. Meanwhile, across the Gulf Coast from Texas through Louisiana and Mississippi, it's been warm and humid, temperatures running 10 to 15 degrees above normal. Mississippi dealt with severe weather and tornado warnings earlier today. South Carolina has been experiencing rainy conditions all week, near record warmth. That changes dramatically starting Sunday. Central Missouri has been quiet, temperatures around 40 degrees, calm conditions. Almost too calm for this time of year. That extended mild spell ends next week when the pattern flips. Northeast Florida enjoyed perfect weather for the past 10 days. Clear skies, comfortable temperatures. Friday will feel very different. And for those in the mid-Atlantic, particularly Maryland, I know many of you have been waiting for snow. 2 years without a major snowstorm in some areas. This pattern shift has real potential, though I need to be straight with you about what's realistic and what's not. South central Wisconsin was seeing rain this morning. Some areas are now reporting the transition to snow has already begun. That's how quickly this system is moving through. Let me show you what's driving all of this. Our jet stream pattern is undergoing a significant transformation. Right now, we have a dip in the jet stream centered across the Midwest and Northeast. This is transporting colder air across the Great Lakes. Nothing unusual there for mid-January. But here's what changes everything. A high-pressure system is building along the west coast. This sets up a blocking pattern that's going to amplify the trough significantly over the next several days. By Tuesday and Wednesday, that dip in the jet stream intensifies dramatically. It stretches from the Great Plains all the way through the Gulf Coast. This allows Arctic air to spill out of Canada and push southward. We're talking about cold air reaching areas like Texas, the central Gulf Coast, and yes, even into Florida by late week. The critical period is Wednesday through Friday. A large trough will be centered over the mid-Mississippi Valley. A low-pressure system will try to form along this boundary. If it organizes quickly enough, we could see an elongated area of light to moderate snow stretching from the Mississippi River Valley through the northeast. This opens the door for accumulating snow as far south as northern Georgia, possibly even into northern Alabama and Mississippi. Now, I need to be clear about confidence levels here. This is not a high-confidence forecast for significant snow in the deep south. What's more likely is that the storm remains broad and disorganized on Thursday, producing very light snow across the southern tier, maybe flurries, maybe an inch in isolated spots, but not a widespread significant event. Thursday and Friday, the storm system moves up along the east coast. Snow will fall from Tennessee northward into the northeast. The jet stream continues to dip sharply across the Rockies and southern plains heading into the weekend. This allows another, even more intense shot of cold air to move across the Great Plains, Midwest, and back down toward the Gulf Coast. If you don't feel the full brunt of this cold air by Thursday and Friday, you absolutely will by Sunday and Monday of next week. Let me break down the temperature outlook, because this is where things get serious for a broad area of the country. The next 6 to 10 day temperature forecast shows a massive ridge of high pressure over the west coast and a very deep trough of cold air in the east. Below average temperatures now extend much further into the southeast than earlier forecasts suggested. This is what's bringing the possibility of southern snow back into the discussion. From January 19th through the 21st, the Climate Prediction Center shows below normal temperature probabilities stretching from the Ohio Valley through the northeast, and critically, all the way down through Louisiana into central Florida. This isn't just a quick cold snap. This is a sustained pattern. Current temperatures are above average across most of the northern tier of the country. A bit below average from Texas through the east coast. That's today. Tuesday into early Wednesday will actually be the warmest period of the next 7 days. Enjoy it while it lasts. Wednesday marks the beginning of the first Arctic blast. Cold air builds on the backside of that developing low-pressure system. It intensifies late Wednesday and Thursday, becoming quite strong as it moves into the southeast on Thursday. This triggers very cold air. When you combine that cold air with moisture streaming out of the Gulf of Mexico at the same time, that's your setup for potential snow in the Tennessee Valley. Friday and Saturday bring the transition period. We're not dealing with just one Arctic shot. A second one arrives Saturday and Sunday, and this one is more intense, particularly for the Great Plains, Midwest, and Ohio Valley. Saturday into Sunday is when the most brutal cold air arrives. This could bring additional snow chances to the Ohio Valley and along the East Coast. By the beginning of next week, the pattern remains active. More Arctic air will be building over Canada. At some point, that has to be released southward into the United States. We could be looking at an even more significant Arctic blast during the last week of January. Let me give you specific numbers on how cold it's going to feel. Thursday morning, wind chills along the Gulf Coast will range from 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Many areas in the Ohio Valley will experience single-digit wind chills. Some areas will feel below zero. By Sunday morning, most of the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and Northeast will see sub-zero wind chills. Even down toward Florida, many areas will be at or near freezing temperatures. I'm not just talking about wind chill here. Actual air temperatures in places like Orlando, Florida will be near freezing. Central Florida doesn't see that very often. For the high plains and upper Midwest, Sunday morning wind chills could reach 20 to 30 degrees below zero in some locations. This is dangerous cold, the kind that requires serious preparation. Now let's get into the snowfall forecast in detail. This is complex because we're dealing with multiple systems over a 7 to 10 day period. Today is the quietest day of the week. The only area currently dealing with winter weather is upstate New York and northern New England, where light snow is falling. Nothing significant. Late tonight into early Tuesday, an Alberta clipper arrives across the upper Midwest. This brings a quick shot of snow to Michigan and Wisconsin. Normal for mid-January. Nothing unusual about this system. Accumulations of 2 to 4 inches across the northern portions of these states. By late Tuesday into early Wednesday, that system intensifies. This is the storm that attempts to bring snow much further south. A strong cold front drops all the way down into the Tennessee Valley. Wednesday morning, rain passes across Kentucky, Arkansas, and Ohio. You're probably wondering how rain becomes snow further south. Here's the mechanism. Late Wednesday into early Thursday, if we get sufficient moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, a storm tries to organize over the mid-Atlantic near Maryland, possibly extending into New England. This should bring at least light to moderate snowfall across parts of the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast. Snow could reach down into the Appalachian Mountains as far south as the Atlanta, Georgia area. Wednesday also brings a significant lake effect snow event to northwestern Indiana. Northerly winds create a long fetch across Lake Michigan. That means moisture builds up and gets lifted, producing intense lake effect snow bands west of Fort Wayne near Michigan City. Some locations could see 6 to 12 inches from lake effect alone. Thursday, snow continues across the Northeast. There's a possibility, if moisture is sufficient, of localized snow flurries or light snow from eastern Arkansas into northern Georgia. But accumulating snowfall with this setup is not very likely in the deep south. I'm seeing some forecast models and some social media accounts hyping major snow for Georgia and Alabama. That's not what the data supports right now. I've examined multiple ensemble model runs. The GFS model has 30 members. Only 1 or 2 members show measurable snow in the deep south. That's a low probability. The European model with 50 members shows slightly better odds. Maybe 3 members out of 50 show snow reaching the deep south. Still low confidence. What is high confidence? The Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, interior Northeast, and New England will see substantial snowfall over the next 7 days. That's locked in across virtually all model guidance. Late Thursday into early Friday, snow continues across the Northeast. More snow emerges from Canada on Friday, bringing light snowfall to the Midwest and Ohio Valley Friday and Saturday. Late Friday into early Saturday, the GFS model shows light snow showers as far south as Tennessee, possibly northern Mississippi and Alabama. But I want to caution you on this. Small-scale snow events like this are difficult to predict 4 to 5 days out. We're monitoring it closely, but don't make plans around it yet. Saturday, snow grows across the Ohio Valley and back into the East Coast. We should see a decent round of snow Saturday and Sunday for many areas in the Ohio Valley and Northeast with that second Arctic blast. Beyond that, the pattern remains active. The GFS model starts showing more significant winter storm potential during the last week of January. That's a long-term trend. Cannot verify that yet. The European model shows very similar evolution through Friday. Thursday into Friday, snow mainly in the northeast. It shows a possibility of lingering snow showers Friday and Saturday as far south as Tennessee, but nothing significant. One interesting feature the European model shows: as we go into Sunday with that second Arctic blast, it develops enough Gulf moisture to trigger snow in the southeast. But this is 6 days out. We cannot predict a snow event in the southeast with any confidence at 6 days. Obviously, if we see snow as far south as Mobile, Alabama, or southern Georgia, it would make major news. We'll keep you updated if this trend continues. Here are the probability maps for snowfall accumulation. Between now and January 20th, probability of at least 1 inch of snowfall is very high across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast. We're talking 80 to 90% probabilities. The Mid-Atlantic is more questionable. Maybe 50 to 60% for areas like Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia. It really depends on how Thursday's system develops. Right now, it looks like a large, broad area of low pressure. That typically means lower snow chances for the I-95 corridor, but doesn't eliminate the possibility. Back down in the southeast, Georgia and Alabama currently show 10 to 20% probability of seeing at least 1 inch of snow over the next 7 days. So if you're in Atlanta, yes, there's a chance. But it's a low-end possibility. Don't count on it. Don't let it disrupt your plans. But be aware it's in the realm of possibility. Expected snow totals over the next 7 days show widespread 2 to 7 inches from Tennessee northward through the northeast. Multiple systems contribute to this. Some areas will see significantly more, particularly in the Appalachian Mountains, western Michigan, and northern Indiana. Those areas could see lake effect totals reaching 12 to 18 inches by the end of the week. Northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin could see major snow, 7 to 10 inches widespread, some locations potentially reaching a foot or more. Upper Michigan heading into Canada could see 1 to 2 feet in the heaviest lake effect bands. Northern Michigan, Indiana, Ohio all see substantial snow. The higher elevations of the Appalachians get hit hard. Interior, Northeast, and New England see significant accumulation. But notice the I-95 corridor from Washington through Boston. Much lower amounts, maybe 2 to 3 inches at most. This is consistent with the warmer scenario I mentioned earlier. For the Northeast coast, this is not shaping up to be a major snowstorm. The pattern is too warm along the immediate coast. Cold air is there, but the moisture track favors rain transitioning to snow rather than all snow. You might see an inch fall before rain takes over and melts it. Interior locations do much better. Western Pennsylvania, western New York, upstate New York, inland New England. Those areas see the real snow. I know some of you along the coast have been waiting for a classic nor'easter. This isn't it. The pattern doesn't support it. We're not seeing any strong coastal low-pressure development in the guidance. It's a warmer scenario with the energy staying inland. Now, I've talked a lot about snow, but honestly, the bigger story here is the cold. The sustained, dangerous cold that's coming. This isn't just cold temperatures for today. Thursday is when the first serious cold blast arrives with the snowstorm. I've seen a lot of hype out there. Some forecasts really playing up the drama. Let me show you reality. Thursday morning, you can see the warm scenario along the mid-Atlantic and northeast coast. No way these areas get significant snow with temperatures this marginal. Maybe an inch falls before the changeover to rain. But look at the freezing temperatures dropping south. This is Thursday morning, the European model compared to the GFS. Both show deep cold punching down through Mississippi and Alabama. Even if your high temperatures on Thursday seem manageable, the wind chills will feel frozen. Wind chills do not make snowfall. I need to be clear about that. Cold wind chills don't produce snow. You need the right moisture and dynamics. But these wind chills are dangerous on their own. Thursday afternoon highs remain frozen across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, even portions of the mid-Mississippi Valley through the Appalachians and interior Northeast into New England. Even high temperatures stay below freezing in these areas. For the Northeast coast, even with your highs, it's still too warm for significant snow accumulation. Eastern Tennessee and eastern Kentucky could actually see a bit of snow with this setup because the cold goes deep enough there and moisture wraps around. Friday, after the precipitation moves through, reinforcing cold air follows. Freezing temperatures lock in with the snow. Whatever snow you have will stay. That next blast starts moving through Friday across the west and upper Midwest, pushing deeper southward. Friday wind chills extend all the way to central Florida. It's going to feel like frozen temperatures even in the 20s across Florida. Meanwhile, widespread sub-zero wind chills continue across the northern states. Saturday, that cold punches down again with freezing temperatures and brutal wind chills extending deep into the south. This cold persists through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. The second Arctic blast, Sunday into Monday, is actually stronger and colder than the first one Thursday and Friday. This is the one that could set up more snow chances if moisture is available. This is also the one that brings the most dangerous cold to the largest area. For those of you dealing with this extended cold, particularly in areas not used to these temperatures, preparation matters. Let's talk about what you need to do. If you're in the upper Midwest, you know the drill. You've been through this before. Make sure your vehicle emergency kit is stocked. Blankets, flashlight, extra batteries, water, non-perishable food, sand or cat litter for traction if you get stuck. Cat litter works better than sand in many cases and costs about $3. Many of you already know this trick. Don't shovel snow just once if you're in areas expecting heavy accumulation. You'll need to do it multiple times. Better strategy. Wait until Friday evening when the snowfall ends if you can. Otherwise, you're clearing the same driveway 3 times. For the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley, this is serious winter weather but nothing you haven't handled before. Pay attention to those wind chills. Exposed skin can freeze in 10 minutes or less with wind chills below -20. Now, for those in the South, this cold is unusual for you. Most Floridians don't own heavy winter coats, and that's understandable. You don't normally need them. Multiple thin layers work better than trying to find a parka. Base layer, shirt, sweater, jacket, trap air between the layers. That's what provides insulation. Protect your pipes. If you have outdoor faucets, let them drip. For pipes in unheated areas like crawl spaces or garages, consider wrapping them. Hardware stores sell foam pipe insulation for a few dollars, worth it to prevent a burst pipe. Bring pets indoors. Provide outdoor animals with shelter and a heat source if possible. Even in Texas and Louisiana, these temperatures are dangerous for animals. Check on elderly neighbors and family members. This age group is more vulnerable to cold. Make sure they have adequate heating and aren't trying to save money by keeping their thermostat too low. If you lose power, which is possible with this much cold stress on the system, never use a gas stove or oven to heat your home. Carbon monoxide poisoning is deadly. Have flashlights ready, not just candles. For drivers, this cold affects your vehicle. Tire pressure drops. Battery capacity decreases. Make sure your battery is in good condition. If it's more than 3 or 4 years old and you're in the path of sub-zero temperatures, consider getting it tested. Keep your gas tank at least half full. This prevents the fuel line from freezing and ensures you can run your car for heat if you're stranded. Across the Gulf Coast, you've been dealing with temperature whiplash recently. One day, 70 degrees, next day, 40, then back up. People have been sick for weeks with this pattern. Sinus issues, migraines, respiratory problems. That back-and-forth pattern ends Wednesday when sustained cold moves in. Your body might actually adjust better to consistent cold than the constant fluctuation. Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania. I know winter has been disappointing in many areas. 2 years without a major snowstorm in parts of Maryland. This system has potential, but I'm being realistic with you. The best snow stays inland. If you're west of I-95, you have a much better chance. If you're on the coast, probably not this time. Rhode Island and Connecticut waiting for that classic nor'easter. This pattern doesn't deliver it. The blocking isn't right. We need a different jet stream configuration for a major coastal storm. That could develop later in January, but it's not this week's pattern. Wisconsin. You're already seeing the transition happen in real time. Rain to snow. This is just the first of several rounds. You'll see accumulation build through the week. For the Tennessee Valley, this is one of your better chances for snow this winter. Not a guarantee, but the ingredients are coming together better than they have in a while. Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, Eastern Kentucky. Watch Thursday into Friday closely. Now let me address something I've seen in multiple forecasts this week. Some outlets are hyping this as catastrophic winter weather for the entire eastern United States. That's not accurate. This is serious. This deserves attention. But it's not unprecedented. Winter means snow. Winter means cold. This is what January looks like. Many of you remember the blizzard of 1993. The superstorm. Temperatures dropped to 15 below zero in some areas. Snow totals exceeded 30 inches. That storm impacted a massive area from Alabama through Maine. This is not that storm. This is not even close to that magnitude. You've seen worse. You've handled worse. Back in 1978, parts of the Midwest dealt with 3 feet of snow and temperatures at 20 below zero for days. Current forecasts show nothing approaching that severity. The difference between now and then is communication. In the 70s and 80s, you got weather information twice a day from the TV news. Now, every 6 hours, there's a new model run creating new social media content. That makes everything feel more extreme than it is, because you're seeing constant updates and constant fear-based headlines designed to generate clicks. This situation deserves respect. It deserves preparation, but it's not the end of the world. Let me give you the confidence levels on different aspects of this forecast. High confidence, meaning I'm very certain this will happen. Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Interior Northeast, and New England see substantial snow over the next 7 days. 2 to 7 inches widespread, higher amounts in favored locations. High confidence. Very cold wind chills affect most of the eastern United States through next week. High confidence. Multiple waves of Arctic air, with the second blast Sunday into Monday being colder than the first. Moderate confidence. Light to moderate snow reaches the Tennessee Valley, particularly the eastern portions. On Thursday or Friday, moderate confidence. Coastal areas along I-95 see little to no accumulating snow, maybe an inch or two at most before changeover to rain. Low confidence. Accumulating snow reaches the deep south. Areas like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, possible but unlikely, maybe 10 to 20% chance. Low confidence. Any specific snow total forecast beyond 3 days. The details will change. We're dealing with multiple systems. Exact tracks, timing, and intensity will shift. Very low confidence. Any forecast beyond 7 days. The last week of January might bring more significant winter storms. Pattern looks favorable, but I can't give you specifics yet. Here's what I'm watching most closely over the next 48 hours. Does that Thursday system organize faster than models currently show? If it does, snow chances increase for the mid-Atlantic and even parts of the southeast. Does it stay broad and weak? Then it's just light snow and flurries, nothing significant. How much Gulf moisture gets pulled into these systems? More moisture means more snow potential for southern areas. Less moisture means the cold air stays dry, and snow stays north. Does the blocking pattern over the west coast strengthen or weaken? Stronger blocking means the eastern trough deepens more, bringing colder air further south. Weaker blocking allows systems to move through faster with less cold reinforcement. I'll be updating as new model runs come in. We should have much better clarity on Thursday's system by Wednesday morning. The Sunday-Monday timeframe is still too uncertain for specific forecasts. For those of you in the drought-stricken areas, particularly Kansas, Nebraska, and parts of the Dakotas, you need any precipitation you can get. Even if it comes as snow, the eventual melt provides moisture. The northern plains have been dangerously dry. Fire risk remains elevated despite the cold. This snow, if it materializes as forecast, helps but doesn't solve the long-term precipitation deficit. Texas and Oklahoma, you've gone over a month without measurable rain in many locations. This pattern doesn't bring you meaningful precipitation. The moisture track favors areas further north and east. You stay cold and dry. That's rough for winter wheat and early spring planting preparation. Looking at the broader pattern evolution, we're entering a more active period for winter storms. This week's systems are just the beginning. The jet stream pattern favors continued troughing over the eastern United States through at least the end of January. That means more opportunities for snow, more Arctic air intrusions, more active winter weather overall. This is actually a return to more normal winter patterns. The past several years have featured relatively quiet winters across much of the eastern United States, particularly the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Warm ridging dominated. Snow chances stayed limited. This pattern flips that script. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not celebrating this cold. I'm not rooting for difficult weather. But this is what winter is supposed to look like in the northern United States. Cold air, snow, temperatures below freezing for extended periods. We've had such mild winters recently that normal winter weather now feels extreme. If you're in Florida experiencing temperatures near freezing, yes, that's unusual for you. It's uncomfortable, but it's not unprecedented. This happens occasionally. You'll get through it. If you're in Minnesota, seeing temperatures 20 below zero, that's harsh, but it's happened many times before. You have the infrastructure, the experience, and the knowledge to handle it. One final note on model uncertainty. Weather forecasting has improved dramatically over the past few decades. 3-day forecasts now are as accurate as 1-day forecasts were in the 1980s. But we're not perfect. Especially with these complex patterns involving multiple systems and air mass interactions, the overall pattern is clear. Cold air is coming. Snow is coming. How much snow in specific locations? That's where uncertainty remains. The Euro and GFS models agree on the pattern but differ on details. That's normal. As we get closer, those details will sharpen. Don't make major decisions based on forecasts beyond 3 days. If you're traveling this weekend, watch the forecasts closely over the next few days. If you're planning outdoor activities, build in flexibility. For snow removal businesses, this is a good week. Multiple events. Sustained cold means snow stays on the ground. Repeat plowing needed. For schools, expect delays or closures, particularly Thursday and Friday across the Midwest and Northeast. For utility companies, prepare for increased demand. These temperatures stress electrical systems. The combination of cold and potential ice on power lines creates outage risk. This is a significant winter weather event for a large portion of the United States. Not historic, not catastrophic, but serious enough to require preparation, attention, and respect. Stay updated. Check the National Weather Service for your specific area. They provide the most accurate local forecasts. My role is to give you the big picture, the pattern evolution, the meteorological reasoning behind what's happening. Your local National Weather Service office gives you the precise timing and amounts for your specific location. This is winter weather. This is what January looks like. Be prepared, be smart, be safe. And if you've lived through previous cold snaps and major snow events, you know what to do. You've got this.